Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. Got a little experiment of a different nature going down today. I got a wondering, since you can paint things onto resin, like you can brush mica powder on after it's set and then give it a little coat. You can paint acrylic on it after it's set and give it a little coat. You can paint nail varnish when it's dry and give it a little coat, or just not, because nail varnish dries that way. I wondered what would happen if you painted, because nothing sticks to silicone. So I was wondering what happens if you painted nail varnish today, in this instance. These are just regulation nail varnishes as my first experiment. If these fail, I will invest in some like, are they gel varnishes? Another variant of nail varnish. I was wondering if I painted something simple, nothing complex, onto my resin mould here. This is just a coaster mould. Will the varnish set to the resin and come away in a oneer, or will it be something I have to pick off later? Either way, I've got loads of nail varnish remover. It's what I've been cleaning things with before I give them a soapy wash. So no harm will come to any silicone moulds in the recording of this video. Let's just give it a go. So I'm not going to do anything complicated, and I haven't perhaps picked the brightest of colours here, but these were all, oddly enough, nail varnishes aren't in the shops these days. Well, they weren't in the shop that I went into when I had this idea. So let's just do, actually let's go for a stripy design. Let's go right from one end to the other. When I say stripy, it's alright. Perhaps this nail varnish isn't the best stuff, because I'm already seeing it sort of doing its own thing. It's shrinking up into the middle. So let's just find out. These were only cheapy, and they're kind of like chameleon-esque, because that's purple but it comes out blue. It's got a blue hint to it. This one's pink but it's got a bit of a blue hint to it, and this one's white but it's got a bit of a gold hint to it. So we'll see what happens. We'll just let it do its thing. You can already see it shrinking into little pools. Let's put a little bit of this up that end as well. I've also got, what have I got here? I've got some red. This is really old, so I don't know if this is gonna be much cop back from when I used to paint my nails. Let's just put a little splash. Oh, that's a more potent nail varnish, because I can smell that one. So we've got Maybelline 60 Seconds, and we've got glitter nail varnish, no brand. So let's see what happens. Put a couple of dots. Can't remember what colour that is. I thought it was black, but midnight. Oh, okay. It's a very nice dark blue. Now, should I let these dry first? I think I should let these dry first. Tell you what, we'll pop that over there to dry, and we will do a little acrylic one. Let me get a couple of acrylic colours out. Any colours will do. What's the first three that come out? Right, we have pearl yellow green. Put a stripe of U down. over there. I'll clean these all up in a second. I've got 3 brushes for quick sake, because this was just an idea on the fly. I was going to do this separately, but since we're stuck waiting for something to dry, a little pearl sky blue. Now these are acrylics, but these must have a touch more water base to them than the better acrylics that I've got. To be fair, these were just a cheap set. We'll see. And a little pearl pink. These were just 3 colours that I pulled out at random. Right. So we're going to come back when they're dry. Okay, we are going to cover these in resin. Oh, and my battery's about to die, so I'm going to do this and put my phone on charge while this is curing. Oops, and I've spilled over the edge, so we'll come back in a second. Alright, the one with the nail varnish is just over there having its last blitz on reverse. This is the one with the acrylic paint. So let's find out. Check that out. That's come out really cool. It doesn't feel, it feels like it's become one with the resin. That's interesting. See, the acrylic works. It's all nice and smooth everywhere. That's really cool. Sorry, the light keeps changing because when it hits that, it goes dark. When it hits that, it lightens up. So let me just keep it over this side. Oh, yeah, how cool is that? Trying to keep it out of its own light. That's really cool. Alright, now the nail varnish one. This has dimpled a little bit, but then I also was getting to the end of the bottle, so it started blowing bubbles. Well, it looks like, let's find out. It's a bit sticky still on the underside, so we're going to give that another blast that way up. I think these, even though they were touch dry, I don't think they were dry enough. And my theory about these cheapies being potentially a bit watery, because they are, nice as they are, they're rather thin and watery. So I think they'll either be need to leave to dry, like perhaps overnight, just to make sure. I know nails don't take that long to dry, but I think if I want to pull this off with those particular varnishes anyway, they're going to be have to be left that long, the cheapies. The Maybelline, that seems to have gone fine. That dried no issues. It was obviously dry all the way through because where I have started to peel them all the way. The Maybelline stuff seems to be, seems to be all good. We'll just take this out. Yeah, you can see all the ripples. The Maybelline stuff, absolutely fine. That is brilliant. It's all rippled where all this cheap stuff has been. and you can see where it's slightly divoted. I mean, it's got a nice effect. I'll give it that. It does have a nice effect, but I think it's going to need to be left to dry overnight completely. Let me just pop that under there for a second. You can still see bits of it stuck. Well, not stuck, just still wet. Now, that was touch dry, but clearly not dry enough. So I'm going to clean this up in a second with some nail varnish remover before giving it a bubble bath. This one's fine. It's just got crumbs on because while I was waiting for it all to dry, I ate some crackers. And I came over here to check on things and I crumbed. As you do when you're eating crackers, you crumb. But this one's come out absolutely fine. There might be a tiniest bit of paint left in there. But I will still give that a proper wash, just to make sure it's all nice and clean, ready for next time. Though I have got an idea involving one of these where they're potentially going to get cut up. Potentially. I do have a new coaster set, courtesy of my other half. He treated me and he bought me this absolutely gorgeous set of 3 different shaped coasters and coaster holders, so I can really go to town with knocking some coasters out. I'll give it this though. Alright, it hasn't dried completely flat. It's got a tiny bit of a bow in it, but then I didn't fill things all the way up because this was just a test. But it has come out really nice, and no lip this time. Right. That is as dry as that's going to be until the nail varnish itself dries. But like I say, I can happily touch where the red and the midnight were. So those 60 seconds, because they were 60-second ones specifically when you get them out, even though they're old, they worked a charm. They were fantastic. These, new but cheap, not so fantastic. Though the 60-second dry time may have played something, may have played a part of it. I think if I try this again, and I will try this again, I will leave these to dry overnight, so they are 110%. I wouldn't normally say that because you know 100% is 100%. But that extra 10% for security reasons, dry, and then we'll try them again to see if they do work. It was just a case of they were wet, which I am thinking that's what it is. But it, like I say, it has had a really cool effect. So acrylic, success, like painting acrylic directly into your mould. Nail varnish, this, I am going to say this is a success if it's dry completely, because that does, you can't feel any edge. There is no lip where, you know, the nail varnish was. It is nice and shiny. And I think we'll come back another day and do another test where I've left them overnight, so they are like beyond bone dry, and we'll try that one again. So I am going to call that a success. I'm going to call this human error / impatience, and not doing it when it was completely dry, because that is why we've got some rippling going on up here, because there was moisture in there. I know that much. I might not know everything about resin just yet, but I know some of the basics, and moisture and resin do not mix. So I'll pop those there, because if I put them anywhere over here, I've splodged stuff about the place. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and checking me and my channel out. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope it's given you some ideas. It's definitely given me some ideas, some different applications. I'm going to try painting some more moulds another day with the acrylics and with the nail varnishes, and see what we get. So yeah, like if you like what you see, comment if you've got something to say, and subscribe if you really like what you see and you want to see more and know when it's coming. Thank you all again so much. Take care and see you in the next one.